please tell me? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to the third edition of the BCC&I Step Forward, a power session focused specifically on how taking one step back can actually drive you one step forward. Before we formally begin the program, on behalf of the Chamber, we would like to thank our partners. I would first like to thank our presenting partner, Woodland Multispeciality Hospital Limited, and our digital media partner, My Kolkata, the Telegraph Online. I would also like to thank the esteemed committee members of the Lifestyle Committee of the Bengal Chamber and Mr. Sumit Dasgupta of All Cap Communication for his support. For the ease of smooth flow of the program, we would like to request all our participants to join through Facebook, YouTube and webcast link provided to you by the Chamber, and all our esteemed panelists and speakers has joined through the Zoom link. Participants can write the questions in the chat box during the Q&A session. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry has come up with its newly constituted committee known as Lifestyle Committee that is focused on advocating good living, happy life for everyone in these hard times. Chaired by Dr. Rupali Basu, MD and CEO, Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital Limited, the committee has some very dynamic thought leaders and achievers as members. BCC&I Step Forward. It is an initiative by the Lifestyle Committee. This is an interactive, experiential and transformative discussion forum where we aim to bring together the experts in leadership, management and allied fields. In this forum, we look forward towards creating meaningful stride between professional and personal stress. The inaugural edition of the BCC&I Step Forward began on 2nd September 2021. After the huge success of the inaugural session and the second edition, which was an international conference, we are now happy and proud to present to you all the third edition of the BCC&I Step Forward. The session would be moderated by Dr. Rupali Basu, Chairperson, Lifestyle Committee of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and the MD and CEO of Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital Limited. She is an expert in healthcare sector in India and currently the Managing Director and CEO of Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital. Dr. Basu is a medical graduate from RG Kar Medical College, Kolkata, and has postgraduate training in health and hospital management from Harvard and Delhi University. Dr. Basu is known for her pioneering work in bringing quality system and accreditation in healthcare in India. Her contribution in developing super-speciality tertiary care hospital services in Eastern India, specifically cancer, cardiac and emergency care, is instrumental in bringing back the confidence of people in healthcare in the region. We are very much thankful to Dr. Basu for moderating our today's session. Welcome, ma'am. We also have our eminent panelists, Dr. Bishwajit Ghosh Dostidar, Director General Medicine, Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital Limited, and Dr. Shobboshachi Mitra, Senior Consultant Psychiatry, Woodland Multispeciality Hospital Limited. Dr. Ghosh Dostidar completed his MD in Tropical Medical Science from University of Calcutta. He has earned MRCP from Edinburgh, UK. He has over 2 decades of experience in India and abroad with premium tertiary care hospitals. We are very much privileged and honored to have you on board, Dr. Ghosh Dostidar, and we welcome you to our today's session. Thank you for accepting our invitation, sir. We also have Dr. Shobbushachi Mitra, Senior Consultant, Psychiatry Woodlands Multispeciality Limited, amongst us. He is a graduate from Calcutta National Medical College. He immigrated to UK in 1996 and completed his postgraduate exams from UK by 2003. He became the member of Royal College of Psychiatry in 2004. Sir, we are very much thankful to you for carving out time from your busy schedule and joining us in today's session. Without further ado, I would now request the chairperson of the Lifestyle Committee, Dr. Rupali Basu, to deliver the keynote address on behalf of the chamber. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shokunna. That's an interesting way of introducing all of us. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and a very hearty welcome to everyone again to the third edition of BCC&I Step Forward. It's an endeavor focused on advocating good living for one and all. Step Forward is a specially curated power session, as Shokunna was mentioning, which aims to dive into the reservoir of countless and wide-ranging experiences of inspiring leaders. The objective is to provide the audience an amazing learning opportunity on unique perspectives of life and living. The initiative is under the ambit of Lifestyle Committee of the Bengal Chamber, which aims to assess, plan, and implement activities that would help employees of various organizations as well as individuals to be more aware, more motivated, and skilled around life decisions. Through this exercise, we endeavor to augment their well-being as well as those around them. The committee's role is also to build a workplace environment that is supportive of living a healthy lifestyle. If it therefore plans to act as the voice to cultivate a cultural lifestyle and a behavioral lifestyle for healthy living. Moving on to today's session, let me once again welcome our eminent panelists, Dr. Bishwajit Koshtastidar and Dr. Shobbushachi Mitra, who will be enlightening with their rich repertoire of knowledge and experience. Today's deliberation, the topic might sound a bit cryptic at the first glance. How do you move ahead if you're stepping back? But a deeper analysis will tell us that we are speaking about the importance of stepping back, taking time out from life to measure progress and take corrective steps with the intent of advancing the long-term goals. Let me share something from my own life experience. Out of my 33 years of running hospitals experience, 15 years have gone in serving and building Apollo Hospitals Group. First as medical admin head and later on as the CEO, the business head. And as you know, Apollo Hospitals Enterprise Limited is a listed company. The president and CEO role of the company, that job was, how do I say it? It's very fast-paced, very large, because we were dealing with large volume. The working life was almost 24/7, like the way the hospitals function. It was almost like 3 Rupalis was working at the single time. The long hours, because the organization was like that. You know, the organization was brutally fast. And my own leadership style also kind of synced with the way the organization was functioning. So my style also became very aggressive. It was result oriented, high targets, high standards, etc., etc., etc. Not that I was uncomfortable doing it, because that was the need for the organization. And as the business head, I'm supposed to look into the interest of the organization only. So I was quite comfortable, but the pace was very different. When I came over to Woodlands about 3 years back, it was a very, very different scenario. Small volume, very slow paced, almost it felt like butter, that if I, do something more, it will just melt away. So I had to take a step back, and I took a step back. I analyzed the organization. I understood that this will not be the same as I have spent my 15 years of work. My leadership style had to change. All my timeline schedules became much more stretched, much more slower. The expectation levels became lower. And because I understood the organization needs time and the sensitivity. The leadership must be, ready or capable of providing it. So the situation needed to be analyzed, and the styles needed to be changed. And at that, late 50s, or mid 50s, I still had to change my leadership style and worked on it, took a real step back. Similarly, I think I have many such examples which even in the past I had to do. What I would like to kind of say on from this is, when we are all management students, management people who would like to put this thought into a management principle or a tool.
Recording in progress.
So if you like to kind of put this thought of stepping back into a management tool, let me take that example of Deming's Pdca Cycle, which we very commonly use in the organizations to improve the work of the organizations and achieving results or continuous improvement. What is Pdca Cycle? It is an acronym of 4 words. P stands for plan. So establishing objectives, laying down the processes that will help achieve the desired results. Do is, of course, the next step, where the objectives are executed as per plan. Then comes the pivotal stage of check. Here the data is collected, matched against the expected outcomes. If there are changes or deviations, those are put in place from the original plan. Data from these are also studied to assess the changes are working better or not. And then we plan for the improvements. And then what again is act. So you check and then you act again or adjust. I want to put in a word of S, which is a stop in between this Pdca cycle. And I would like to say it is Pdca cycle. Take just stop, pause, analyze all outcomes. Probably you need to, kind of change your complete roadmap. You need to, just kind of not do anything. In the corporate world, time, speed, targets are the things which are prevalent. And those are the ones which are defines a corporate world. But I think taking time and stopping your activities, it seems like that you are not working, but actually those will be more beneficial for the organization to grow, to become better, to become stronger, and not to break down. Many times, if we don't stop in the right time and we keep on doing and pressurizing and pushing, things do go wrong and actually organizations break. So my suggestion would be that let's do a modified Deming or maybe a Rupali addition to the PDC, because this is a very important tool that we use, the Pdca cycle. In the whole of quality accreditation in the JCIA, this is one cycle which we use in all departments in our healthcare sector, everywhere and use this management tool everywhere. So I would like to say that Pdca cycle, and with that, I think I will go over to inviting our 2 panelists today. I would first ask Bishwajit Da. I'll invite him to talk on this topic. We didn't talk before on this subject, Bishwajita, but I know very well that you will talk, and you'll talk from your mind, from your experiences, and share with us your thoughts on the topic. Over to you, Bishwajita.
Thank you, Wali, and taking cue from your experience, let me recall my own experience. It was 25 years ago when I was in England in my training period. We used to have every 6 months some sessions between our consultant and the trainees, just to check each other's strengths and weaknesses. And during that discussion, I remember once my consultant told me, now I was a sort of a workaholic kind of a chap, a bit of hours and that. But that was my nature. I didn't really know whether it is my strength or weakness, but couldn't just help it. So my consultant told me, he didn't say anything about those things, but he just told me that you see that the footballers, are you interested in football? I said yes. With that, the gentleman was.
Your voice is cracking, Bishwajita. I think you can.
Is it cracking?
It's a bit of a.
Is it okay? I think the net issues.
Yeah.
Is it all right? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. Sorry.
Yeah.
So he said that you see that when there are two kinds of players on the field. You feel that there's one kind of players who are very speedy, and the wingers they just focus on the ball, just speed with the balls, and then when they come near the goal, they out of 10 they miss 8. If lucky, they score 1. But that's one kind of a play.
Mm-hmm.
There's another kind of players who speed up to the midfield and then stop, and then look around in a relaxed way, and watch the positions of their own players and the opponents, and they find a gap, and then they place the ball to another player, and then proceeds. You see that, and in most situations they actually succeed. Their rate of success is higher than someone who actually speeds with the ball without looking anywhere. So he just, I knew, I got the clue. What he meant to say about me, and from that day onwards, I realized that what is the importance of the stopping in the middle of the work, and then look back, sit back, and then the retrospectively, spend some time introspect. What is the importance of that? It's a huge importance of introspection from time to time during a work time. Now this is, but even since I'm a physician, I should actually talk about something about the lifestyle and how that this issue actually has any relevance with the lifestyle. So before I start that, let me thank the organizer, the Bengal Chamber of Commerce, for inviting me as a panelist on this very important platform, and I must appreciate their endeavor, and their goodwill to create the space and time, I think, on this very important discussion on which is basically work-life balance and its effect on the physical and mental health. I'm really grateful to them that they have actually included this mental health issues. Actually, this eventually translates into a better productivity. I think that is the whole idea of this lifestyle, and stepping back and then stepping forward. Now, let me mention the very fundamental fact about our human body and Mother Nature. We know that human body is a part of Mother Nature, and we know that Mother Nature has a day when at any point of time, half of the world is awake and half of the world is asleep. And so every cycle of life is like that in the mother nature. So is our body. You see that our body is designed to wake up in the morning at the sunrise and to go to sleep at the sunset. And to that way, the entire, the hormone system, our autonomic nerve regulation, everything is designed that way. And our body is expected to function accordingly. So you get up in the morning, have a big meal, work the whole day, run after your prey, and then stop, and then have another meal and go to sleep. Now, what has happened after the advent of electricity? We don't have a night vision, but with the advent of electricity, we have a night vision. So we shifted our whole schedule 6 hours forwards, but that is not coping with our circadian rhythm, natural circadian rhythm, which even with such a long thousands and thousands of years hasn't actually changed. We still have the spikes and the spurts of the hormone at 8 o'clock in the morning, when we are supposed to work, but we actually sleep. So that is a problem with our lifestyle changes, the advent of modern civilization. But body try to cope with this, making some changes inside the body, but at some point of time, the body will give you a signal. Look, you stop. If you don't stop, then I'll react in the opposite direction. That's what the body does. If you don't stop there, then the body starts producing some toxic substances inside your body, and that translates into what is known as the life disease, like hypertension, diabetes, fatty liver, sleep apnea, and whatnot, and a whole gamut of psychological disease, which we should be discussing in great details. Because I sincerely believe that the body and the mind are not two different things. They are very, very similar. They all have biochemical background as well, similarly. Only thing is that the mind cannot be touched or mind cannot be tested with the blood tests. These are the two differences, but they do go parallelly, and both of them are equally important in terms of the lifestyle. Now, so what happens if you step back and so this is very important. Now, if you step back, when you get in the signal from your own body and your mind that you should stop, then actually body probably gets back to your circadian rhythm. So you spend some time to your body's circadian rhythm and then recover. And the body has a time to recover and stop producing the toxic substances. And this is how possibly you can prevent that lifestyle disease by following this, what is known as step back and then stepping forward. And that is what I actually understood. I want to send this message that how important is it to stop for a while and then listen to your own body, listen to your own mind, and then regain your functions, regain your rhythm, and then stop producing those toxic substances which will eventually lead to all sorts of lifestyle disease, which is terrible and which you have actually understood during this COVID pandemic period. As you see that all the deaths of the COVID, why is COVID so dangerous to us? Because it can cause death. We're not bothered about the transmission or, if it is a mild disease. What we are really worried about the deaths in the COVID. And most of the deaths have actually taken place in those who have lifestyle disease, those who have diabetes, hypertension, obesity. Obesity is extremely important. Obesity, the young people with the COVID has died, only most of them really had this obesity and all the lifestyle problems. And why did that happen in the first place? Probably because of this certain things that they haven't possibly done earlier. So it is really very, very important to everybody. And I'm thankful to raise this topic as a topic of discussion when you're talking about the lifestyle. We're always talking about the physical exercise and, so diet restriction and everything, something which is actually, let me tell you that, which you all know, but we can't implement. Why? Because the medical science can give you information, but medical science has no power to implement. And that is, I mean, you can't stop. And if there are a sweet and fast food shop at the corner of the road, then how can you stop the lifestyle disease? But the doctor, as a physician, I cannot stop the growth of this kind of facilities. It is probably there are many stalwarts sitting in the audience who can actually implement with the help of their influence to policymakers. So, but this is an important topic. It's a very fundamental topic that you have raised, and I think the other part is the mental health issues. It's an extremely important issue. It's quite often neglected, both in the community, in the hospital, in the workplace. But I think it is no less important than the diabetes, obesity, sleep apnea, fatty liver, all this sort of metabolic diseases. It's probably even more important that we should address. I would also, since it is a forum where there are many people from the corporates, let me tell you, I'm really worried about the young people and their health currently. With obesity, with the early onset hypertension, diabetes, terrible childhood. A serious change about all this, because if you see that this young generation, when they will be in the peak of their career in the 40s, mid 50s, they'll have heart attacks and stroke, and many of them will actually die and are actually dying. So if you don't stop here, if you don't change their lifestyle very drastically, and our country, which is full of young people, are really going to suffer in the next decades terribly. So it is, every one of us should be responsible for that. If we don't make such changes drastically and dramatically now, I mean, we are actually sitting on a time bomb. So with that, let me finish. I think I've considered my time. Thank you very much for this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwajit. That is such a wonderful way of explaining the background of why we should the biochemical and the medical and the scientific explanation of why should we take a step back. It's all about it's not those two words which are important, but it's actually much larger. And it is, as you are saying, that we are sitting on a time bomb with the lifestyle diseases. Absolutely right. The way non-communicable diseases and lifestyle diseases have come up in the last 2 decades, it's just it's engulfing us, and a young country like us will be are suffering and will be suffering more. So it is something which we have to really we need more awareness, more deliberations, and more work. I now invite Dr. Shobhoshachi Mitra, our senior consultant in psychiatry, to talk on the topic. Over to you, Shobhoshachi.
Hi, thank you very much. I welcome everybody to this afternoon's deliberation. I thank the Bengal Chambers of Commerce, Woodlands Hospital, and Dr. Rupali Basu for allowing me and giving me the opportunity this afternoon to talk in front of this esteemed panel. I mean, to talk after both of you is very, very difficult because you have covered most of it, and you've been so eloquent in your deliberations. So it's like coming to bat after Sachin Tendulkar has just left the field, and 2 of them, Sachin. So it's a difficult and an uphill task for me. So I was just wondering that I'll kind of change tack a bit. It's unique that, everywhere that I am asked to deliberate a lecture or, deliver some, talks or different conferences, we are expected to talk on how to move forward. This is unique because here we want to talk about how to move backward or maybe stop. And I really hope and pray that conferences like this take more or becomes predominant in the years and months to come, because that would help humanity in the longer run. How do we understand that we need to stop? Because let's take, normally we would expect that the machines should learn what the man or the woman tends to do. I would ask everybody to just close your eyes and think and learn now from the machines. Let's say we were to travel by air or by train or by a car, and it was a distance of, let's say, anything between 800 kilometers to 10,000 kilometers. You would see that the machine that you are traveling in will have to stop several times in order to refill its energy, to calm its engines down, to be able to move on to the next lap of your journey. That is exactly what we need to learn from our machines. They are right in front of us, and if we do not learn them today, we will crash much earlier than we are supposed to. And Vishwajit rightly said that people will die much younger than they should have. So it's important to understand what stress can do to us and what are the elements of stress which can cause these lifestyle disorders. And if you do not hone in on these lifestyle disorders, if you do not put a brake on them, if you do not stop now, your engine, which is your body and your mind, will come to a sudden stop and will start malfunctioning. It is very important for the entire community to know what is happiness. There are two aspects to this. One side, there is the science of happiness, and the other side, there is the practice of happiness. There has been enough research to suggest that being happy is also a learned process. We can be happy if we learn how to be happy. I know I have only 10 minutes to go through a very, very vast array of human emotions, so I'm going to try and make it short and crisp. See, mental fatigue, if we allow happiness unlimited, it will cause mental fatigue, which is described as a burnout in most individuals, particularly professionals. Hence, we need to stop, take stock, and then perhaps restart. Or perhaps even change course. As Dr. Rupali Basu had said, she was on a treadmill which was running at 16. What would have happened after half an hour? All of us over here know the answer. So she stopped, slowed the pace, switched on to another treadmill, and has moved on. It is very important to live longer. This is what I'm saying is the difference between science of happiness and the practice of happiness. She might have known the science of happiness, but what she, in spite of knowing the science of happiness, she has put it into practice. So that is called practice of happiness. See, for passionate people, they attach too much of, they attach happiness to their work, to their achievements, to their number of medals and medallions that they, try and get through their lives. Rest for them takes a backseat. Family for them takes a backseat. Friends for them takes a backseat. Now all these three, or maybe even more in number, they are the fuel of your journey of your life. So if you, or for that matter anybody, attach happiness to your own personal passion, God help you, because you will become unwell sooner than later. Too much of happiness, too much of passion can actually skew your perception about the whole situation. It gives you a mismatched perception. In order to achieve that, we subject ourselves to a rat race. Now, I can understand that we all have to get on that rat's wheel to be able to try and be successful. It is also for us important for all of us to know that, you know, once you participate in a rat race, success is not assured. Many people would over here stop me and tell me that if you do not participate in a rat race, lack of success is assured. We understand. We are not asking you not to participate in a rat race. We are asking you to slow down, take fuel, renew your journey, and start again. We all need to be successful, but there are ways and means of it. Success and happiness should not burn ourselves out. As rightly said by Vishwajit, that this COVID has taught us a lot of things. Before COVID, we were all on this treadmill, which was, you know, running very, very fast. We were all becoming stressed out. We were all having lifestyle disorders. We were all in pursuit of happiness. But were we happy? COVID actually showed us the fact that we weren't. Many of us, many of our colleagues who I sit down, talk with, have a chat, have a drink with, they are happy after COVID because COVID has showed them with glaring fingers that there is a need to slow down. There is a need to take stock. There is no need to change course. And perhaps there is also a need to take a, partial retirement. Many people, many doctors, many professionals, many engineers, I have friends who own smaller businesses, they have said, enough was enough. COVID has given us the resilience to be with our families, to be with our friends, to be with ourselves, to look after ourselves, which we had actually forgotten. It is important to understand that severe attachment to your work leads to illusions. It is important, the most important thing, that successful people have the ability to detach themselves from these serious attachments of life and living and work and passion. Attachment, passion, stress, rat race, these are the things which harms a human soul, a human mind, and a human body. And if we do not know this, we will never see. As the good old saying goes, if you do not know where to see, you will never see. If your mind doesn't know, your eyes will never see. So it is important that all of us, our minds need to know what are detrimental to our lives, what is detrimental to our lifestyle, what is detrimental to the happiness, the pursuit of happiness. So letting passion dictate your mood, your energy, your enthusiasm is not a healthy thing to do. It does not give you good outcomes. Being passionate is very good, but not if it is directly proportional to the amount of lethargy that you experience. It should not be dictating your mood levels, your energy levels. Because in that case, what you will do is when you go back home, you are still carrying your work in your mind. You're not looking at your partner. You're not taking care of your kids. You are losing out everything in pursuit of your passion. So stop, gentlemen and ladies, take stock, think twice, and restart with a renewed vigor, like a car journey from here to, let's say, Jamshedpur. We stop to refill ourselves, to refill our cars, to give the engines a time to recover, and then to restart so that our journey has a fruitful end. People who have come back from failures, they actually are able to come back because they know the art of detachment. They do not carry their failures in their mind and be bogged down with such failures, because that will give you a loop of thoughts which will be intrusive, forcefully into your mind, and will keep playing over and over again, stopping you from moving forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is important to learn the art of detachment. Detachment needs to be on various factors, primarily from materials. Less is more. I can actually tell you many friends who have got many more mobiles in their homes than they actually need. They have got more number of laptops than they actually need. They have more amount of food. They cook more amount of food than they can actually consume. So detachment from materials is very important. Detachment from relationships is very important. Because in a relationship, if you are entwined, if it should be an acceptance of a relationship, a free bird instead of a bird which is controlled and caged. Detachment from experiences should be very important. In the previous, earlier days, we have faced different experiences. All of us has faced different experiences in life, like marriage, like deaths in the family, like divorces, like, unwell kids, like childbirth, everything. So it should not be born as bitterness. It should be born as wisdom. So the good old English saying which says, let's learn from our mistakes. So it is very important to detach from materials, from relationships, and from experiences. Now this detachment warrants our lives to stop. Take a look at it. Look back. Understand the mistakes that we have done. Make sure that you are getting what you wanted. Make sure that the pace that you want is the pace that you can perform. And if not, step back, rewind, and restart. That will give you a longer and a more fruitful life. So it's very important for us all to know the practice of happiness rather than the science of happiness. It's very important to know that passion should not override our day-to-day life. It is very important to know that detachment from various issues is more important. It will give you fuel for sustenance. It is very important to know that we cannot, our outcomes should not should not actually control our lives. If you want to know these things, there will be times in life when you want to stop, when you want to slow down, when you want to change a job, when you want to take up a passion, or when you want to take up something which you wanted to do, maybe singing, maybe dancing, maybe playing the guitar, maybe meeting up with older friends, maybe traveling the world. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, stop, think. And if you think you're on the right pace, on the right track, then restart with a renewed vigor. Thank you very much for listening to me this afternoon.
Thank you, Shobhashaji. It was wonderful to, look into the mental and the overall life's aspect. You spoke about the practice of happiness and gave that as the key to move ahead. I think it was extremely important to also know about the art of detachment. You gave absolutely that how to do the detachment, which are the areas, materials, relationship, experiences. It was wonderful listening to you, and I'm sure everyone who's listening to you and also Vishwajit earlier have learned a lot of the life's lessons, which is what we want to do from this committee. I was just getting reminded that a few days back we in Woodlands we wanted to do something for the International Women's Day, and with the 797 doctors that we have in our list of consultants with the organization, we went through and saw there were about 83 of the lady doctors with us, and then we searched it down to, but we couldn't connect everybody, but we connected to 75 women, and we said that all lady doctors. And we know that, for us, like it's family, look after family, you cannot get away with it, look after your career, profession, that you can't do without. So there is nothing which is other than this too. And we were, trying to talk about the me time, that what is that little special time for yourself when you just unwind and do something which you really like to do. We wanted to actually take the me time things from everyone. We did that, and we did a presentation for all the 75 women. And you won't believe about, I think 13 of them didn't even know what is the me time will be amongst ourselves. They didn't know, they don't do anything other than, so what is this me time all about, Rupaliti? Ma'am, we don't really know. So it was, and then of course they all expressed that it was such a wonderful time that even that little 2 hours, 2.5 hours of, getting out of your usual stressful atmospheres was so good to have. So we'll, I think we have really heard a lot of, from both sides, both of your talks, that what is a scientific background of taking stock, stopping and moving ahead. I have 1 or 2 questions for you, Bishwajit, and maybe probably I'll ask 1 question to you and 1 question to Shobhitaji. Quite a few written down. So I think that, even today we lost one of our Tollywood actors at 57 because of, again, I think early onset hypertension and lifestyle disease. So what is your guide to us, that what will be, how a contemporary person of today would improve their work-life balance, or, few prescriptions from you, how to do work-life balance?
Right. I think it's difficult to say it in a very short period of time, but I think my advice would be I should consider both physical, mental, and spiritual health. All 3 of them are very important in a man's life. The spiritual health, I mean, what Shobhitaji was talking about, in that it is the detached karma concept, which is our old concept. We know that, which is the Indian concept, very rich concept, difficult to understand and implement, but something that we must always remember. Number 2 is the lifestyle, like food, physical exercise, and adequate sleep, and adequate rest. These are all important. By food, as an Indian, I'll say just 1 word, is that there is many dietary advice, but the 1 dietary advice is very relevant to Indian people, is the carbohydrate. One has to restrict the carbohydrate. I shall not be talking much about the fat, the protein, and the minerals and the other things. But what is definitely extremely dangerous in Indian diet is too much of a carbohydrate. Every part of India. And this is something that 1 word about diet is this. Physical exercise, I think it is extremely important to find some for heavy physical activity, not just light physical activity, but heavy physical activity, even for 15-20 minutes, at least 3 to 5 times a week. It is extremely important. Let me tell you 1 example, that 1 simple small size samosa contains 100 calories, and it takes about 20 minutes of high intensity exercise to that calorie. So it is that important. Physical exercise not only gives you, burns your calorie, but also improves your cardiac health, cardiovascular health, which is very, very important. Overweight is an issue. Sleep is an issue. Nowadays, it is there is a big hype in the social media that I don't know who's driving it, that even 4 hours of sleep is good enough, which is rubbish. You need a good quality sleep for at least 7 to 8 hours, each one of you. This mobile phone and all this blue light generating devices are extremely dangerous for you. I'm sure Shobhitaji will be able to say a lot about this issue. This is important. This is extremely important, and it is not. If not something is there, there's some action is not taken about this. Our future is very, very dark. So sleep important. Taking time, taking a break. I mean, as we're all talking about all this time, that it is very, very important to take a break. Listen to your own body and mind. Take a breath. Don't stretch yourselves beyond limits. This is extremely important. Your body will start generating toxic chemicals, which once starts never ends, and that is the lifestyle disease. So take a break whenever you get a signal from your own body and mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the signals are to be understood and have to be taken in. I think many a times we don't really listen to our bodies, and that's how the things do happen. I would ask one more question to Shobhushaji on that. These days the lifestyles of our has changed over the last few years with the new digital age, with the mobile phone, with the post pandemic. I think there's huge changes in the way we live life today. And more, I think the anxiety and, there's a lot of worries coming to us because of probably change of lifestyle or probably adapting to the new ways of, living life. So how deep-rooted is this anxiety thing, Shobhushaji? Is it something that it's becoming a big problem, will become even more bigger, and what we should do? This is not really talking about that, on the topic, but I thought that it's important from you.
Sure, absolutely. I think it's a very, very good question which you have put through. See, the new normal is definitely called the new normal because it is very, very new, and the community as a whole was not aware that they would have to be at home. They can work from home. They will be hooked onto TVs. Kids will be on mobile, learning this, learning that, and learning whatnot. Now, everything will have a spillover effect. I think this is very early days, so hence we are having the other issue over here is that because of this new normal, there is a lot of substance misuse which has increased in the community. You can understand the sales of alcohol for a single day was 200 crores in a state of West Bengal. And, obviously it's generating a lot of revenues, fair enough, but, it is being consumed. So what has happened during the times of lockdown is people who have been in has actually resorted, there was nothing else to do. So people were resorting to alcohol, smoking, and other sorts of substances. And that became that is not going to go away that easily. However, I have a feeling that there was a knee-jerk reaction in the entire society. It is something which the community has not faced in the last 100 years. So this was new learning, new things and new problems has arisen. But as we gradually go back into the normal structures of life, these will again start taking a little bit of a back seat. If for any instance it does not for certain individuals, then the only way forward would be to, like previously when the ceiling fan was invented, it had no regulators. So it used to run at the maximum speed. Now the community realized that it's too cold, it's too windy in the room. So they designed a regulator. So with time, there will be a psychological and a social regulator which will come in, and people and kids will start regulating their screen time. So instead of being 6 to 8 hours on screen, they will regulate their time to 1.5 hours. See, what more important over here is to know that these new age technologies, also, they are not always harmful. They are also helping us. They are bringing people together. They are bringing patients who are far to be seen in inner city hospitals and consultants. So there are advantages to it, but there are disadvantages too. I think as human race, we tend to find the fault lines, and we will overcome this. There will be regulations in our behavior. There will be time-tested tools which will be set up, and we will come to a situation where it will not all be seriously, socially, psychologically bad. But as you know for sure that, even the World Health Organization had said that by 2020, mixed depressive and anxiety disorders, which includes your question of anxiety, would be the largest disease burden in the world. And that is exactly what has happened. I guess what COVID has done is it's pushed it over into a much faster pace. And let's see where we go from here. We should learn our lessons from COVID. We should slow down. We should take stock. So if humanity learns and comes out of this rat race, which we were in our pre-COVID times, then I think we will be happier as a nation, we will be happier as a community, and we will be healthier too. It's very important that, as Bishrajita said, exercise is very important, sleep is very important, what you eat is very important, what you should not indulge yourself, too much of alcohol, too much of smoking, too much of drugs or whatever is very important. Detachment is important. So yes, it's important that we have, as I said at the start, that we need to have more conferences like this, which instead of asking us to move forward, pace forward, run forward, asks us to stop, stand, take stock, and then realign ourselves and distribute our energies differently.
Thank you so much, Shobhushaji. I was, when I was setting up the topic with Shukonna, I was just thinking that, whether, this is the dilemma for all innovators or, new thinkers. When you want to do something new, you kind of think 10 times that whether I'm doing the right thing or not. So I'm really, really happy that, that it is from both of your discussions, I could understand that this is an important topic and we should talk more about it. So over to you, Shukonna. I think we have completed our timelines, and over to you for the pleasure of, saying the vote of thanks to our panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we deliver the vote of thanks, we have one more question from the audience. Mr. Abhimanyu Das has asked that in the period of COVID, it has been traced out that a number of people lost their mental strength. What should be the suggestion in recovering?
So maybe Shobhushaji, you can take it.
Okay, sure. Yes, yeah. See, as I said earlier on about experiences, I have mentioned it in my deliberations earlier on, that we do have life experiences, and that can be good, bad, or ugly. And now let us say that this COVID, which has been a good experience for a few, which has been an ugly experience for a few too. There has been deaths in family, there has been depressions, there has been job losses. But if you have an experiences, there are two ways of moving forward. One is to carry the bitterness of that experience. Option two is to enhance the wisdom that you generate from those experiences. So if COVID was an experience, there are two side arrows. One is you can learn from this experience and become wiser. Two is that you can become very bitter from that experience and carry the can of bitterness for the rest of your life. I would suggest that we understand what COVID has taught us. Of course, there are lots of bad things which has happened during COVID, but what are the advantages of COVID? COVID has taught us the importance of time with our family. COVID has taught us that we can work and productively, reasonably well from our homes. COVID has taught us that, men and women need to work hand in hand. We need to work together to make the family function. It has also taught us the importance of safety, physical safety. It has also taught us the, importance of sanitization, of clean life. So all these things are very, very important. Yes, we have had mental health setbacks during those times, but COVID was a learning experience. We are again slowly, though we are limping back to normal, but we will surely go back to normal. There is no way that COVID will stop us forever. History has suggested that economy, after all pandemics, has actually doubled and trebled In all the past pandemics, economy after the pandemic has doubled and trebled. We have increased our resources. We have realigned our jobs. So we have gone through difficult times. It has been a learning experience. Let us not carry the bitterness of it. Let us become wiser and more intelligent about how to cope with adversity. It is important that COVID has made us learn all those things, made us richer human beings, and made us more astute and capable of dealing with adversity should there be one in the future. Imagine the amount of healthcare infrastructure which has been pumped up, ramped up in our entire country across the globe. That is here to stay. So let us focus on the positives. Yes, we have had bad days. Let us learn from those bad things and move forward. That is all that I can say.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, I would like to give a formal vote of thanks on behalf of the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry to my distinguished panelists, to our moderator, Dr. Rupali Basu. We are extremely thankful for your time. On behalf of the Lifestyle Committee of the Bengal Chamber, we thank Dr. Bishwajit Ghosh Dostidar, Director, General Medicine, Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital, and Dr. Shobboshachi Mitra, Senior Consultant Secretary, Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital, to take out time from their busy schedule and grace the occasion. Thank you, Dr. Basu, for brainstorming this absolutely fantastic initiative, BCC&I Step Forward. It is your brainchild. As discussed, it is quite imperative to state that sometimes one has to take a step back, a time out from their life to move forward. The importance of stepping back and measuring progress is as crucial as the action one takes to advance the long-term goals. When we take a break and review our actions, we will clearly see where we are on our journey in life and career, where we need to go next, and how others compare to your progress is the past. This will give us more confidence in planning what we need to do to move positively through change and transformation. I must thank all my partners, my presenting partner, Woodlands Multispeciality Hospital Limited, our digital media partner, My Kolkata, the Telegraph Online, for coming together and putting up this fantastic session. We thank all our participants, friends from our media who took out time and attended this program through our various digital platforms. Thank you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.